What's going on, Jeromes? We're back daily. Jerome's live stream, 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Thursday, talking football, talking junk, talking all the things. Thank you very much for coming along, making this part of your day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Also, remember, Teespring, promo code flag, 9% off, 19% off everything in the store. Get yourself TCO PC Bar and Grill shirt. It's pretty phenomenal. Props to producer Allie, Rockstar, for designing those up. All right, so a ton of questions. We'll do some shout outs here a little bit later on. Thanks very much for coming along. Let's go. All right, so Jacob Worley. Let's just go for it on fourth down when field goal range. We should also go for 2-point conversions of extra point. I think they may have to. I think they might have to, since with COVID, with COVID restrictions of new free agents, if the Vikings do sign Catanzaro or Bertoletto or whatever his name is, they won't have any practice. So they're probably going to go with Dan Bailey since they cut Tristan Vizcaino. Great. John Anderson TV. I think I remember hearing you liking history. If so, do you have a favorite subject history? I like Roman Empire. Like Roman Empire as it was ceasing to be a republic and then becoming an empire. So like Caesar, Cicero, the Mark Antony, Octavius, Augustus era. It's really good. Tristan Bailey. What would the Vikings have to give up for Quentin Nelson? Probably 2 ones and some change. Like I get guard, but he's the best guard in the league. Lucas Johns. Once Daniil is back next year, how do you see the reps being split between Afadi and Wanham? I think that Wanham, they'll give every opportunity for Wanham to take the starting job. Afadi's been decent this year in terms of generating pressures, but he just hasn't closed. But Afadi can bring value in terms of, like third down interior presence, which he was last year. He may not be happy with that, but I think that's his best way to serve the team. King Julian, even if we don't make the playoffs, the 2020 Vikings might be the best team in the league after the Chiefs. Might not go that far, but they're definitely going to be upper crust, especially with Daniil back, Eric Hendricks at full power, another draft class in the hizzy. MIT03. The score is 22-21 Bears with 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Does Zim go for it on the 2-yard line or put the game in the hands of Dan Bailey? Well, if it's on the 2, yeah, just kick it. I mean, that's a 19-yard field goal. That's an old point after. Yeah. Lucas Johns, I really think Rodgers is going to win MVP based on nobody else playing amazing really recently. Also, quarterback bias and with Dalvin not being able to run in garbage time. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think that the greasy grimy Green Bay Packers octogenarian quarterback might just win it by default. Robert Barweiler, do you think it's more likely that we keep Kirk for another 2 years or they punt on him this offseason? I think they'll hang on him. The way that he's played since the bye, like he wasn't the problem against Tampa. He wasn't. No, he's played pretty damn well. So, respect to employee number 8 in that regard. Next up, Westworld. Maybe having these kicking issues may make Zimmer realize we can't win every game 10-9. Probably not. Well, yeah, that's one of the big drawbacks of playing the conservative style that Mike Zimmer wants to play. Hold the other team to field goals, kick field goals yourself. You got to have a good kicker if you're going to play a low-scoring ball game, bro. Connor May. I got a great idea with destroying. You should interview him and show the YouTube channel. He would be down. I think plus your first collab. Nah. Zach Ballas, sign B-Rob to the practice squad for a weekend and evaluate him to elevate him to the active game day roster one time. I think B-Rob is having a lot of fun fishing and hunting. He is. I think he's enjoying the downtime. So he'd probably still get after it though. I mean, he might be able to get more pressure than the current Rushman. Samson Romaine. Would you pay to watch one of the Paul brothers box Michael B. Jordan from Creed? No, but actually, everyone craps on like Jake Paul, and I think in this fight, Michael B. Jordan would be the favorite just because all the money would go on him. Combination because A, he's Creed, B, he looks like a fighter, and then Jake Paul, they just want to F him. Yeah, screw Jake Paul. Screw that guy. But actually, Jake Paul's got hands, man. He does. And even though Michael B. Jordan went through extensive boxing training, I mean, there's a difference between training to be in a movie and training to actually fight. So I think it would be. Also, I think that Paul would have the reach advantage on him. I think it would. Fake username too. How much do you wager the next season Mike Hughes will be cornerback one? $0.0. Yeah, I think Dantzler and Gladney will be the starting cornerbacks going forward. Mike Hughes, they'll probably have him back since he's in his final year of his rookie deal. They won't pick up his fifth-year option, but punt returner, I'll be okay with that. Evan Cascanaway, would you rather have Foles or Trubisky playing? Trubisky always seems to play well against the Vikings. I'll take Trubisky. Yeah, well, I'll take that. Foles just seems to have this weird thing. I don't know. Cascanaway, Kwity Paye, Joseph Asai, or Gregory Rousseau, based on who you would most like for our team. Well, I think Paye is the best all-around player, but I think that the ceilings of Rousseau and Asai are higher. Plus, all right, so they seem good to go, keeping Daniil on that left side, playing against the strong side of the offense. So he's playing on the close side. If you were looking for a left defensive end, I would go Kwity Paye. Also, I think Paye may be able to kick inside a little bit of 3-tech work. Plus, if the Vikings are going to implement some 3-4 looks, him at the 5-tech would be solid. But also, since the Vikings are going to be looking for an open side, a.k.a. a right D end, or a guy who's going to go up against a left tackle, I know that Rousseau's got all the hype. I mean, it's hard to ignore 50.5 sacks last year, but Asai has done it for 2 seasons. Plus, I think Asai's got a little bit more bend than Rousseau does, so I would actually go with Asai. Yeah. Miles, how's Gladney been playing the last few weeks? Good when he's not been hurt. Evan Cascanaway, would you rather Wyatt Davis or Onwenu? I'll take Onwenu just because he's the proven commodity this year, playing guard as well as right tackle for the Patriots. But Wyatt Davis is good, man. Shiver Timbers. Man, I really wish we had Yannick Ngakoue. Yeah. I get why they got out of it when they could, since they probably didn't have eyes for extending him long term. But, man, just having someone who can actually close. Plus, I mean, just think of how games would have turned if you had a guy who's capable of getting to the quarterback. I don't care that he didn't play against the run very well. I mean, John Randall and Alan Page didn't play well against the run. And Jared Allen didn't play well against the run. And also those game-changing strip sacks, which he just seems so adept at. Yeah. Sammy McMullen, where do I apply to get the special teams coach for the Vikings? Monster.com. Max Kallenberg, we realistically have a chance at making the dance at 8-8. Cardinals can drop 2 against the Phillies and the Rams. Against Philly and the Rams. It's possible. I mean, Philly's going to be a tough out, and the Rams may still potentially be playing for the 1 seed, or at least even I don't know. I mean, this year it's odd. Well, if Seattle keeps the pressure on in the NFC West race, the Rams may have to play it out according to Hoyle Week 17, which would be great because Vikings could get as much help as they can get. But it doesn't really matter unless they beat the Bears, because if the Bears are still hanging around, then it gets a little bit dicey in terms of that last wildcard spot. But yeah, if the Vikings do end up 8-8, where they lose to, say, the Saints, but they beat the Bears and the Lions, and then the Cardinals drop theirs as well, I mean, sure, but just win out. Make it easier. Hunter Williams, sup Skull from Savage. Hey, thanks for making this channel the best on YouTube. How did Reef, Cleveland, and Bradbury do against the Bucks? Reef, let's look. Cleveland did not do well. I believe he had 8 pressures and 3 sacks. Even though O'Neal probably should have been dinged more, he didn't get hit for any sacks, as well as only 1 pressure. Reef. All right, so Dozier did not have a good day, and rightfully so. All right, let's see. All right, so Bradbury 2 pressures, 0 sacks. Reef 2 pressures, 0 sacks, 73.1 grade, which is the best on the team for offensive line, I believe. Oh, except for Rashad Hill, all up in there. Sure. I mean, overall, the big perpetrators were Cleveland and Dakota Dozier. I mean, Dozier just got worked, man. It's rough. Kevin Ace. Hoping Barr comes back and move to an every down edge rusher with less snaps and coverage like how TJ Watt does. I would be open to the idea at a reduced rate. Game of Jones. You always say scout the player, not the helmet. With that said, what schools have the best reputation for QBs? I don't watch any college football. In terms of reputation, well, it's sort of all over the board because the octogenarian went to Cal. Mahomes went to Texas Tech. Josh Allen went to Y freaking Oming. Russell went to Wisconsin for 1 year, and he was at NC State before that. I'm trying to think, like, pro-ready guys. See, USC has always been unfairly dinged, even though Carson Palmer turned out okay. But then you look at Leinart, you look at Matt Barkley, you look at it's whatever with Mono Boy. I'm blanking on his name. Jets, yeah, the Jets guy. God, what's wrong with me today? We need some more coffee. Sam Darnold nailed it. Guys have been good. I guess Stanford, give a little credit because, see, who's been at Stanford? Andrew Luck, John Elway. Actually, no, it's only 2 guys. Never mind. Let's see. Notre Dame said Elway had Montana. Joe Theismann went to Notre Dame. I don't know. There hasn't really been like a really good quarterback powerhouse school. Because you think that Bama would be really good since they run a pro-style offense, but there's always been so much talent that's just been glommed there. So they had like Namath and Snake Stabler, Greg McElroy, sure, Tua, yeah, Jalen Hurts, I guess technically, yeah. Recently Oklahoma, because Lincoln Riley's been doing some great things there. It's a college spread, but has a lot of NFL caliber concepts thrown into it. So Kyler, Baker, back-to-back number 1 overall. Also Jalen Hurts. I mean, technically, they can take credit for him, sure. Let's see, who else? Purdue, Drew Brees and Kyle Orton, sure. Florida, no, not so much. Grossman, Josie Grossi. I guess Georgia with Stafford, Fields. I mean, I guess I can take credit for that. Ohio State, yeah. Haskins, probably Fields. Lawrence, Clemson, Deshaun. There isn't really like an established, like, hey, this guy went here, so he's going to be phenomenal in the NFL. Although, if Baker and Hurts and Kyler pan out, then maybe Oklahoma. Sure. Next up. Game of Jones. I'm still hoping Cook leads the Vikings to the playoffs like AP did in 2012. This is a golden opportunity for Cook to come closer to AP's legacy. Thoughts? Slower couple of games recently. Even if you can call 102 yards on a touchdown against the number 1 run defense in the NFL, slow. Just seems like it. But yeah, if he drags their ass to the playoffs, which they should stay committed to the run, absolutely, then he's got a shot. Next up, Lord in it. Since it seems NFL is scripted these days, Vikings-Bucks game, do you think the Vikings will ever go all the way? They'll finally give it to him. It's like baseball and the Cubs and the Red Sox. Mahoga. How about Sam Darnold's backup for Cousins? Anyway, Jet is going to dump him after 0-13 loss. I would take him for a 4th rounder. Why the hell not? Give a couple shouts. Let them know where we're watching from. FKS Conway is. I know Trevor Lawrence is the obvious choice, but could you imagine the blocking of Becton and Sewell at the two tackle spots? That'd be pretty sexy. Evan. Oh, read that one. Andrew Namuth. Would you rather have 2018 Cody Parkey or Dan Bailey? Dan Bailey. Nah. Kevin Ace. What are your top 5 favorite TV shows of all time? Mine are Breaking Bad, The Wire, Narcos, South Park, Avatar: Last Airbender. All right, so top 5. Breaking Bad, Narcos. Narcos is so damn good, especially Narcos Mexico too. Throw The Office in there. Does like NFL Films America's Game count? Because that would be in there, although it's more documentary. Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy is great because it's so stupid and outrageous and outlandish, but it's basically a soap opera with motorcycles, but you can't not look away. Also, so I respect Sons of Anarchy because they, like, Suter does not give an F. Like, he would just kill off anyone at any time, except for, obviously the main characters. So that's always why it would keep you on your toes. I think Sons of Anarchy and Breaking Bad is the last show that I actually watched like in a serial version where every single week you're looking forward to it. Wasn't into Game of Thrones, wasn't into The Walking Dead. I just never really got into those. See, I got 2 more. Nah, pass. Attack Remote Blade. Collab with Randy Guy anytime soon. No collabs. Cody Punsack. What? Half of the comments that we get are always like, "Hey, how come you're not as good as this channel?" Or "How come you don't work with this channel?" This makes you feel really good. Cody Punsack. Who'd win a fight? Gorilla or grizzly bear? Bear. Yeah. Shiver Timbers. What is your favorite music genre? Favorite artist in said genre? Kind of vacillates. Kind of goes back and forth. So, you know the stupid answer of like, what kind of music do you like? I like all kinds of music. I actually do kind of like all kinds of music. Where if it's like old classic rock, Zeppelin, like modern rock, Foo Fighters, I guess technically, even though they play Foo Fighters on KQRS now, which is just depressing. Now that's classified as classic rock. Rap, Dre. Earlier Kanye, Kendrick Lamar's really good. Also, so it brings me back to high school days, like poppy punk. It's like MXPX, and like Blink and Bowling for Soup and Phoenix TX. It's just so silly. Also, I will admit, I like Ariana Grande. Just keep breathing and breathing. Because kind of maybe Mike Flair can help. No, Griffin career. Will Daniil Hunter still be as effective coming back from neck injury? Yeah, he'll be fine. Westworld. What are your overall thoughts on Christmas lights? So I don't like putting them up. I don't really care. Plus, it's a bump in the electricity bill. That's really dad mode coming out. But the kid does seem to love them. So begrudgingly, like, we'll put some out. Like, we got like a plug-in deer, which he likes. So, what's the deal? What position would you be in the NFL? I would be a slot receiver on a team that only runs 11 heavy sets, so runs like the least amount of 11 personnel. So I'd be on the Vikings. Tyler Newman, thoughts on Jake Paul's message to Conor? I did not see it. I'm guessing he called him out. So if it was a straight boxing match, I actually think it would be relatively close, even though everyone would be betting on Conor because, of course, Conor fought Mayweather. And Conor does have some extensive boxing training, although not as much as MMA. I think that would actually be a good fight. I think Paul has the size advantage. That'd be a good fight, actually. Brett Vuzelis. We should sign a kicker in the offseason because Dan needs some... Actually, we'd have to look, because has Jake Paul fought a southpaw before? Because not only is Conor southpaw, but he's also like very, very unorthodox, like in terms of his stance and approaches, and his angles too. Should we sign a kicker this offseason because Dan needs more competition? Yes. It was shocking that the Vikings didn't have a kicker in training camp. Honolulu Western. Do you watch any anime? No. The what in WTF? Oh, so you think the kicking problem could be the long snapper? He has been good, but these kicking problems only started to rise once Cutting was replaced. Well, he was fine in the Bears game. And also, sack up. Figure it out. I mean, because you're not going to have the same long snapper forever. Like, no one has that thing. Like, things happen. Injuries, losing half a finger, COVID. So, yeah, you're a professional, Dan Bailey. Get your shit together. Brady Miller. Do you think we'll somehow get a second-round pick? Yes. Andy Shong. How would you convince Anthony Barr? Oh, crap. Let's do some shout-outs. All right. David Nelson, Skull from downtown Jacksonville. What's up? Duval. Brett Charles, Montana. Moonblood. Orlando. What's going on? Ooh, Preacher Paul's back. Hauling it for all y'all. Let's see here. Brett Charles. Helena, Montana. Purple Rain. Wausau, Wisconsin. Cody Punsack, Duluth. Josiah Clarkin, La Crescent, Houston County representing. Pulford Skull, Nashville, Tennessee. Miles, Denver. Mike Benham, Grand Rapids. Zach Varmer, Peaky Blinders. I never really got into Peaky Blinders. Like, I know that's supposed to be good, and I like Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy a lot, but I just never really got... Oh, I'll put Boardwalk Empire up there in my top 5. Mike Wasco, Scranton, PA, the Electric City. Preacher Paul's hauling it through Butte, Montana. I love Butte. Copper mine. Let's see here. Ryan Tourville, St. Paul. What's going on? What is Moonblood from St. Olaf? Northfield. What's up? All right, you guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. Next up is, how would you convince Anthony Barr and Kirk to take a pay cut? How would you convince Aaron Donald to join the Vikings? Well, Kirk probably won't take a pay cut. You could maybe convince him to restructure, but he'd get the same amount of money. Anthony Barr, I think that the Vikings will approach Barr with a pay cut or cut situation. And like Riley Reef, he may demur. Like, he may be like, all right, so coming off an injury, I may not get as much in free agency as I would get here by staying in the system where I've been successful, as well as being around these teammates. So I'm going to take this pay cut. Maybe there will be some incentives where I can claw some of this money back if I hit it, sure. Also, Aaron Donald, he ain't going anywhere. Yeah, it's annoying. Robbie, would it scare you if Brian Kelly from Notre Dame became the coach of the Chicago Bears? I would not. No. I actually do wonder if Brian Kelly's shtick would work in the NFL. You know, the hard ass, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it would. Robbie, do you like VR Troopers more than Power Rangers? No. Who does? Technoblade, I heard Tom Grossi called you out. Cool. Daniel Olson, what is your favorite number in the alphabet minus purple? 6. Abisa Warika, interview destroying. He knows where I am. Rocky Bang, I've noticed you have mentioned some wrestlers before in your videos. Who are your favorite pro wrestlers of all time? Mine are Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Sting, and The Rock. Well, so I used to watch pro wrestling a lot back when I was a kid. Kind of got out of it, but The Undertaker was the man back in the day. Like Jake the Snake, like Hulk, before he turned heel. I like The Rock, except I like The Rock more after pro wrestling, if that makes sense. You know, with his movie work and buying the XFL, it's really awesome. Also, Triple H. Triple H is great. John Cena, The Miz. Even though those are more modern guys, where I don't really keep up with the storylines, I just like the personalities. Also, Diamond Dallas Page, where I didn't really watch him much when he was actually active wrestling, or I didn't really care for him that much. But after he got into the yoga stuff and health and wellness, and like that Jake the Snake documentary, it's really cool. It's really awesome. Oh, I mean, Ric Flair. Woo! So when I was a kid, Ric Flair was already that old man. It was just like, hey, get out of here, old man, with your loose skin and old balls. But after watching the Nature Boy documentary, it's like, oh, he's from Minneapolis. He played on the Gophers. I mean, how awesome is that? And then you got more of the life story. It's like, man, this guy lived at 200 miles an hour all the time. But yeah, fun story, of course, Mike Flair. King Julian, Wyatt Davis or Jay Tufele? I would go Davis. Yeah, I would go Davis, even though Tufele, I think he's a very solid all-around defensive interior guy. Specifically for what the Vikings need, they need that penetrator, like just a guy with that quick first step. I think Tufele is a jack of all trades, master of none, really. Wyatt Davis is going to be the best left guard in this draft class, hands down, plug and play starter. Where in the second round, third round, day 2 area, you can get Twyman, you can get Stills, maybe Onwuzurike. Well, yeah, Onwuzurike would be a day 2 pick. Yeah, we're just a guy with a quick first step. In fact, frankly, I don't even care if you're a liability against the run. Just a guy who can come in and blow up a one gap. Do that. Sam Morris, love the channel, Andy. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Technoblade Vikings record in 2022, 12-4. Sorry, 15-4. Tyler Newman, if you could pick one player to get rid of with 0 cap penalty, who would it be? 0 cap penalty? I mean, this would be a lot easier question on week 6. Probably still Cousins. Just because that number's so big, man. Miles, are you worried about Trubisky and the Bears? No. Jacob Mejia Megat, do you see us going on 4th downs a lot more this game? Yes. Vikings Highlight HD, who do you think is going to have a better game, Jefferson or Thielen? Please, I need advice on who to start. I'm in the fantasy Super Bowl. Well, last time the played the Vikings, they did deploy Fuller more on Jefferson. That's why Thielen had himself a pretty nice game. So I actually think it could repeat again. Because I think that the defense, I think that Chuck Pagano clearly see Jefferson as a wide receiver 1. So they'll do everything in their power to keep him at bay, shading some coverage, putting Fuller, possibly even traveling with him. So, yeah, I'd bet on Thielen this game, especially if it's a PPR. Casanaway, How did you enjoy the movie Safety? We didn't end up watching. We ended up watching Dateline because so we'll do that where if we're not in the mood to watch anything and like the kid will be on her tablet or something and we just want something that'll be on in the background. So we DVR Dateline 2020 and 48 Hours and just play one. Yeah. King Julian, first round offensive line or D line? O line. Yeah, I think that there will be just a glut of offensive line talent where it seems counterintuitive that you would select from a position of strength in the draft just because it's right there. But also, you look at the relative value of D-line, especially defensive interior guys in the day 2 area. Yeah, I'll go O-line. King Julian, Hunter to the Bengals for the 3rd overall pick. No. I think that you still have the best edge rusher in the league in Danielle Hunter. And you've shown how deficient this can be. There isn't a premium edge rusher in this year's draft. I mean, maybe if there was a Chase Young and he was going to get to 3 in this draft, sure. But even though Penny still would be super tempting, man. Or you'd have your pick of quarterbacks. Carson Harlow. How fast do you think Mike Zimmer could do a 40-yard dash? I actually don't think that he could run. I think that he would like waddle trot, so like maybe 9. MJ the GOAT. Why don't we try James Lynch? Damn straight, why don't we? Free James Lynch, damn it. Technoblade. Defense is completely broken, and Harrison doesn't have it no mo. Of course he does. What are you talking about? J.A. Bricks. Favorite non-Viking game, Vikings game of all time? Favorite non-Vikings game of all time? Well, that Chiefs-Rams game from last year was good. Was it 2 years ago? It doesn't really matter. Let's see if we're talking big game. So the Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl, I think it's 2008, right? That was a fantastic game where it was good from start to end. Where you'll find these games, especially Super Bowls, where boring, big time awesome at the end, like the Panthers Patriots Super Bowl from, is that 03 or 04? But that was one of them where boring, everything happens, right? But that Steelers Cardinals game was amazing. That was the one that had the right before the half, the James Harrison 99-yard interception return for a touchdown. That was the one where, I mean, Larry Fitzgerald, if the Cardinals would have won, would have been the Super Bowl MVP because he had that go-ahead touchdown where he caught that post just right up the middle, just like running, shadows of the night. And then Big Ben sacking up. Bruce Arians was he OC or QB coach at that time? Yeah, no, he was OC because Wisenhunt was previously the OC, and then he was coaching the Cardinals. And then Big Ben just marches the team down the field. San Antonio Holmes, tiptoe right in the corner. Great, one of the greatest catches of all time. Also, so the Steelers should have been flagged for excessive celebration on that play, and the Cardinals should have gotten 15 yards on the kickoff, and that would have brought the Kurt Warner Hail Mary at the end of the game that much closer, so it would have had a better shot, but yeah. Just feel bad for Larry Fitz. That was a great game, though. It was a great game. Anyway, our Reaver Ghoul. If we lose to the Bears, we are done for the season, right? It's pretty close to that. Is there any other way a team... well, Cardinals could, of course, lose out. The Bears could drop their final 2, but there's too many moving parts with that. Tony Levins, what's your favorite movie? Mine is Miracle. Favorite movie? If you just had to pick one? Might be Ocean's 11. I think that might be the movie I've seen the most. Rounders is up there too. Actually, Sneaky, The Town. Town is a great movie, man. The What in WTF? Worth in Walsh over Bailey. Worse. Yeah. Also, what's your favorite burger joint? Let's see. Well, Blue Doors, obvious choice. The Nook. The Nook is phenomenal. Pride of St. Paul. Let's see what else. I don't. Well, it's hard remembering because it's been so long since we've actually gone out for burgers. But in terms of like chain burger, we should go to Culver's. The kid likes Culver's. Burgers are good. It's one of the few things that Wisconsin does right. So, Thorvald Von Johnson. If Zimmer doesn't have a kickoff specialist who can boot the kickoff out of the back of the end zone against the Bears and Patterson, they're done. They are. That's why I'm very concerned about Dan Bailey. But if they do sign Chandler Catanzaro, so under the new COVID protocols, 6 days to clear, including the day that he got there. So he was in Minnesota yesterday to try out. So it would be 6 days on Sunday. So if he cleared for the game, even though he wouldn't have practiced as a kicker, just having him kick off, he doesn't need to practice that. He already knows how to do that. So having him as a kickoff specialist, I'd be okay with that. Luke K, I'm back, got a new job. What's the worst movie you've ever watched? The final Matrix movie was pretty bad. There's a movie that we saw in theater when I was in college called Kung Fu Hustle, which was pretty terrible. Oh, Rollerball. So Rollerball's up there. The reboot with like Chris Klein and LL Cool J. That was bad. Gavin O. I see so much Mahomes and Trey Lance, and we need to trade up for him or get him any way we can. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Same thing if you pop in Zach Wilson. Technoblade, was Lamar pooping? Yes, he was. Technoblade, favorite YouTuber besides me? I don't really watch much like YouTube. I guess Andrew Neem. He's the guy who does poker vlogs. He's really good. Zach Delap, favorite Christmas movie? Probably Home Alone 2. I like 2. Technoblade, least favorite animal? Armadillo. You know what you did. Samson Romaine, have you ever tried doing a 3-round mock draft as the Jets and trading the first pick? It's like rebuilding a new team with all those picks. What do you think the chances of the Jets actually trading the first pick and sticking with Darnold? For the second part, 0.01. But yeah, they would have a ton of draft capital because they have a ton of picks in the first 3 rounds. Spartus Jacks, Andy, I'm pretty sure I already know what your answer will be, but I'll ask anyway. Would you trade the Vikings' top offensive and defensive player, i.e. Cook and Hunter, in exchange for Trevor Lawrence? That was an option. Yeah, I'd do it. Brady Miller, is there a world where Kendricks, Barr, Wilson, Dye all exist on the same team? I think it's more Barr and Wilson. I think it's going to be either one or the other because, I mean, Kendricks will obviously be back. Dye will be back since he's on his rookie deal. But, yeah, it's either Barr or Wilson this offseason. Sam Ross, will the Jerome Barty be possible someday? Yes. Bro123, do you like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Milwaukee Brewers? I like Giannis. And also, all right, so I can like the Bucks because, you know, the Wolves and the Bucks aren't even in the same conference, so it's not really a rivalry. But yeah, I like Giannis. Like, Ray Allen, fucking day. Ray Allen, Glenn Dog, Big Robinson. Glenn Robinson was hilarious because his contract was worth more than the Bucks team was evaluated at. Also, Terrell Brandon. Plus, I like those purple and green Bucks uniforms where they had the actual deer. Those are good. The Brewers, screw him. That man, dude, I think Destroying deserves a shot, not just because he's a YouTuber. That's what all the GMs think, but he's got a lot of talent. I mean, he does have talent. But also, like we said, does he benefit more from always being the outsider, always the guy who's never getting a chance? Like, hell, maybe he has had tryout offers. And he's like, nah. Max McElroy. Got to say, after thinking about it, Rick Spillman's done a great job. If we cut Barr and Rudolph next offseason, free up $20 million in cap, plus Daniil and Pierce. Everyone else is basically locked up for the next 2 years. Great tillage structure. That being said, if this past draft class, you had a few whiffs, it's a different story than this past draft class. Yep. Julo. Did you see the Browns-Ravens game? It was insane. Lamar coming back from the bathroom and easily goes down the field. The game-winning drive. Yeah, you hurt Trace McSorley because you had to take a deuce, Lamar. Zach Ballas. Dan Bailey should have to shave his mustache as punishment. Should have to do that anyway. Lucas Johns. I go to Iowa State. We have a junior linebacker named Mike Rose. He's a little small, so I'm not sure if he'll be a linebacker in the NFL. Definitely seems like he has potential. It reminds me a lot of Harrison. Yeah, I've seen him to a degree. I keep forgetting that safety's name. Last name starts with an E and starts and he's a second. But yeah, he did pop a little bit. So yeah. Sam Morris. Do you see? We gotta start vetting these questions, man. Do you see if Michael Pierce being cut if he opts out again? Probably not. No. Because if he opts out again, the Vikings don't have any cap ramifications. Eric Larson, I'm a Vikings fan until I die. It's always a bad start when you preface it like, hey, I'm the biggest Vikings fan there is, or hey, I've been a Vikings fan for 50 years, blah, blah, blah. I had to say, like, yeah, who cares? Yeet Lord 2020. What are the chances the Vikings get destroying? 2. Gavino, there's 3 offensive players in this draft I want to see the Vikings get. Trey Lance, Sapian Kirk, Rondale Moore, and Pat Freiermuth. I mean, if somehow that went down, that would be the greatest draft ever. Because I love Trey Lance. Rondale Moore would be super legit as a wide receiver 3, gadget player, as well as a return guy. Plus Freiermuth. I know the Pitts is getting all the love. Freiermuth, much better blocker, but still a pretty insane a red zone threat as well. So, yeah, why the hell not? Rapid. In our 13-3 season, do you think we would have done better or worse if Bradford and Cook never got injured? Well, better if Cook never got injured, even though Latavius and McKinnon did fare pretty decently. Bradford is a dude, though. I mean, the first game against the Saints, before his knee got tweaked. There's just something magical about Case Keenum that year, but if Bradford and Cook stay healthy, I think the Vikings win the Super Bowl. Pulford Skull. Jesus. All right, yeah, long history about the Vikings and kickers. Cool. Yeah, what is it with the Vikings and kickers? Bennett Dunham, what's your favorite sport except football? I guess baseball. See, I like the other sports because I can just be a casual fan. Sort of over the NBA. College basketball can be good. Oh, wait, can I say college football? No, it's except football. Yeah, baseball. I guess MMA to a degree because I like that because I can just be super casual. Yeah. Pulford Skull, Vikings released Tristan. But I did bring in Canzaro and Bertolet for tryouts. Started COVID touching. Agreed. Mejia Megan, most overrated movie. Anything by Wes Anderson? And that's mainly to see if producer Allie's watching because she loves Wes Anderson. I don't get it. Like it's too quirky by half. I don't understand. But singular movie. Citizen Kane. Like I get that it was an amazing movie for the time, but I mean, there's been a lot better movies, a lot cleaner stories, stories that don't just drag on. I was like, oh, Rosebud. Oh, spoiler. It's his sled. Who cares? Who cares? And I get because the movie's quasi based on William Randolph Hearst. So at the time, all the reviews were like, oh, this movie is phenomenal. That's what I say. But that's it. That's the Daily Jeromes live stream for the day. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. Subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the Teespring store. Promo code FLAG. 15% off, 19% off everything. Go to reading today. Get yourself a TCO PC Bar and Grill shirt. Go check that out. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along.